Hey, welcome to Handle Blade, where if it's got a handle and it's got a blade, we're going to cover it. Today's episode, we're going to go ahead and cover the Kershaw Conduit folding pocket knife. This is one of my favorites that I've seen in a long time. Kershaw puts out a great quality blade, and with the CR13 MOV stainless steel blade, it's super easy to resharpen, so it makes it nice if you're just kind of getting into carrying knives, or if you haven't done a lot of sharpening. This is a really great blade for resharpening and getting it back to that razor-like edge. So jumping into some of the quick details, yes, I had to write some notes because I only got so much room in my hard drive left these days, but we have a 2.9 inch blade here, and overall we're looking at 6.8 inches. So my hand here compared to it, you know, finger to top of palm, about like that. So you get an idea. That's about how long it is. It is the spearpoint blade, which I absolutely love. This thing will pierce through just about anything. It is deadly sharp for sure. So if you are in a situation where you're needing to use this to pierce through something, what I really like about it is the fact it's got some nice jimping on the top. Of course, we have our nice little finger well here and the flipper part, right? So it's going to lock in your first finger. And I got fairly good sized hands, but I can still get all four fingers on this handle, and I've got a lock on it. So nobody's getting this knife out of my hand. You can't pry it out, right? And nobody's going to grab the blade. So this makes a very useful daily carry in case you run into a situation where you need to use it. And if you do, that point is going to be very helpful. We're going to leave it at that. So moving on from there real quick, 2.6 ounces. And like I mentioned, the CR13 MOV stainless, black oxide as far as the coating on the blade and on some of your hardware. So it's well protected. I like the most, it's pretty much blacked out except for just a little bit of the stainless coming through here just on the edge. So very, very sharp, and glass, what do we got? No, glass filled nylon for our handle. So enough of the notes. For those that care, that was all the important stuff when it comes to the details. You know, as long as you know that the blade's resharpenable and you're going to be able to get a good edge on it, that's what matters more than anything, and that it's comfortable in the hand. So let's jump into the cut test, because that's the big thing when you're getting a knife. And I've run into this so many times where I've seen a video and they just say, oh, you know, you talk about the knife, and maybe it'll get a piece of paper and cut it once. I can't for the life of me ever remember a time I thought, you know, I got to cut some paper, I need to buy a knife. It just doesn't happen. So that's why on this channel we cut stuff that you're probably going to use, you're actually going to cut with your knife. So we're going to start out a little paracord here, not much of a test here because this blade is so sharp it just goes right through it. I was talking about the spear tip, the spear point on this thing. It just goes right through. It just, because of the design of the tip, it just, and I'm not putting any pressure on this hardly at all, just goes right through the material. Super sharp, so if you're just going to cut through your material, it just does it no problem whatsoever. Just a great tip on this. Let's jump over to some other things though. This is a hard plastic tubing that you might be using for something that will be pushing water or something through, but it's hard. It's not a flimsy, you know, but as far as cutting, just pops right through it, no problem at all. We've got a, this is kind of a spline material for screens. As far as cutting through that, that's just like butter. That don't even, nothing too good about that. Here's some heavier hose. This would be something more like a gas line. So it's got some braiding inside of it, a lot heavier duty, but from a cut standpoint, cuts it no problem at all. No big deal. Moving on from there, let's talk about seat belt material. This is actually off a winch strap, but it's basically the same thing. Is it going to cut? Of course it is, no problem at all there. And oh, I don't know. Let's go ahead and have it eat through some hemp rope. This is really tough stuff, this hemp rope. I have some knives that I've got that I thought were going to be sharp enough to cut through it, and I could not get through this. So this is tough stuff, but this knife just loves to eat. That's its favorite thing to do, just eat. And you can see it's not all frayed up, just a clean cut much through the whole thing. So this knife has really impressed me in what it can do, the sharpness of the tip, the feel, just the overall weight, the comfortability of holding it in the hand. You know, again, the jimping there, it's enough, you know. I mean, you'd really have to be trying to force something super hard to lose your grip right there. It's not the stickiest of jimping. for lack of a better word, that I've seen on a knife, but it does good. You know, the design here, this is another thing I really like about it, is you get the full blade because of your cut in right here. You got a full blade to work with, and you can sharpen. That's not a smart thing to do. You can sharpen your blade from tip all the way to the end, which is nice, rather than it butting all the way up against the end here, which some knives do. The lower grade, lower quality, a lot of them will do that. You can't really get up here and sharpen that, but you can get a full sharp or resharpen on your blade. So deep carry on the knife itself, and your typical liner lock as far as holding it in. It is assisted as far as opening, so even flipping it from this side, you can see how strong that is, because the handle side is much heavier than the blade, and it flips it up that far. So it does really good on that side. That's why when you're using the flipper itself, it just, without any pressure, just immediately gets where you want it to go. So super fast deployment if you need that, and just all around great knife to carry around with you. So highly recommended. Definitely, this is one of my top favorites in the Kershaw lineup of knives. So if you have not yet subscribed, hit that bell there, the subscribe button, do all those things. You know, you hear it on every video, but it does matter. Us folks that are out here creating videos for you guys, you know, it takes some time, takes some work, takes some money. I don't get these free from the company. I buy them myself, so I give you an absolutely straightforward review, so that you know there's no funny business going on. Because if this knife wasn't good, I'd tell you this knife ain't any good, and I've got some coming up that aren't any good, so you're going to want to be on the lookout for those videos. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of Handle and Blade. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.